Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Ox and today I will be presenting to you why animals should not be kept in zoos. So I want to first start off, raise your hand if you've ever been to a zoo. Now I want you to think in your heads, how did the animals behave? Did the animals seem happy or did they seem sad? According to an article on PETA's website, poor conditions in captivity often lead animals to show self-destructive behavior, which is known as zoochosis. Look at it this way. How are we supposed to protect these animals if we're keeping them in tiny cages and never releasing them back into the wild to actually replenish their species? If everyone actually took the time to understand how these animals would behave in the wild, then you would start to see that the way they behave in captivity is extremely abnormal. So like I said before, my name is Chloe Ox. I'm an animal rights activist at PETA, so I have considerable knowledge about how to protect these endangered species. Today, I will teach you how zoos lead animals to develop zoochosis. I will teach you how zoos use animals as a means to increase their revenue and bring in more foot traffic. And I will inform you how zoos are not properly educating the public about how animals behave in their natural environments. First, let's discuss how captive environments can negatively affect zoo animals. Zoo animals are often subjected to really irregular routines and environments when they are in captivity, and this can be extremely disruptive and traumatic for them. You're moving them away from their traditional social groups, and you're subjecting them to different caretakers, different cage mates, and this can be really confusing for these animals. Zoos vary in size, so they could be small roadside menageries like you would see in the Netflix show Tiger King, or they can be large amusement parks. But even these large zoos still partake in unethical practices. According to PETA, there was a survey done of 4,500 elephants both in the wild and in captivity, and this study revealed that elephants in the wild, their mean lifespan is 56 years old. But elephants in captivity, their mean lifespan is only 16.9 years. So obviously there's a drastic difference. The government must work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture to construct stricter laws that will protect these animals' rights and their well-being. Now let's discuss how zoos are propagating that they are helping these endangered species when really they're actually using them for entertainment and to boost their revenue. The first thing you should know is that most animals in zoos are not actually endangered. And the ones that are endangered, their circumstances are often made worse. The second thing you should know is that these zoo animals are almost never released back into the wild. According to PETA, zoos regularly earn millions of dollars annually by building amusement parks, concession stands, and gift shops. Instead, this money should be going to conservation and habitat preservation projects, not for cosmetic improvements. Although zoos pull in millions of visitors each year, most actually operate at a loss, which results in them having to find unethical ways to either cut the cost or including gimmicks that will attract even more visitors. Most people only see this family-friendly environment when they go to a zoo, but actually behind the scenes, zoos are doing very little to invest in the animals' well-being and for their sake. So what should we actually be doing to help endangered species? Zoos claim to provide educational opportunities, but when most people go to a zoo, they spend a couple minutes at each display seeking entertainment rather than facts. There needs to be a shift in mindset from entertainment to respect and understanding for these zoo animals. Since they're being reared in these artificial environments that don't actually depict what their real habitats would look like, you're not seeing how they would normally behave and what their normal routine would look like. Zoos are therefore teaching people that it's acceptable to lock these animals in extremely cramped cages or spaces that don't fit for them, and depriving them of all control over their lives. If you really want to learn about these animals, go see them in their natural habitats. And nowadays, it's as easy as going on television or searching a video on the internet. You can view these animals in their natural environments without having to sacrifice their well-being. This makes the idea of keeping animals in captivity extremely obsolete. So, in conclusion, Animals would be better off without zoos because zoos subject them to needless suffering. Zoos use them as commodities to increase their revenue, and zoos don't adequately educate the public on how these animals would normally behave in the wild. The only real way to save these animals is to protect their habitats and their environments and to stop illegal poaching. It's not by breeding them into captivity. So instead of visiting a zoo, I encourage you to go visit a sanctuary or support organizations that protect these animals from being exploited and that preserve their habitats. Thank you.